Garou vs Saitama is one of the greatest fights in manga, period. But I guess today we aren't talking about the manga version of this fight, but the webcomic. Now personally I think the webcomic fight is superior to the manga in a lot of ways, but instead of comparing the two or hating on the manga, I instead want to take some time to instead just focus on what makes the webcomic fight so amazing, and why it arguably has the best character writing in the entire One Punch Man series. And so if you find yourself entertained at any point during the video, then like, subscribe and ring that bell. Anyway, on with the video. Before we even get to this legendary fight, we first have to discuss what happens directly before it. The appearance of Garou and his systematic destruction of the S-Class. Now one of the most core ideas in relation to this fight is the idea of the ideal hero, of what a hero should be. The reason Garou became the hero hunter, why he is even here fighting to begin with, is all down to this idea. Because in his mind he has the image of a hero, what he thinks a hero should be. And so the reason he hunts the S-Class here is because they do not conform to this image in his mind. Hence he one by one destroys them, with each of the heroes personifying one flaw he sees in heroes as a whole. A My Mask represents the image of heroes as beautiful and perfect people that should be revered. As Garou says, does a hero have to be beautiful? Is being a hero based on such superficial aspects? And goes on to say that isn't that just proof a My Mask and heroes as a whole are just narcissists? Atomic Samurai pleads for Garou not to fight him nor his disciples because they are hurt and unarmed. This shows to Garou that a hero will not risk their own life to save others if they themselves are in an unfavourable position, that they can be forgiven for not trying when they could, just because it's a little harder and more risky for them. Pig God represents the greed of heroes. As Garou says, under the name of heroism, he consumes twice as much as others. In other words, just because he is a hero, because he calls himself one, he is entitled to more than the average person. That just because he's a hero, he is let off of getting more than the people he saves. Zombie Man, due to his regeneration, can never die. In Garou's eyes, he can't ever risk his life because he has unlimited lives. He doesn't have to worry because he himself will be fine no matter what. Even if he fails, there's no lasting consequences to him as a person. Flashy Flash is the self-importance of a hero, calling himself the main character as he shows up. His ego and pride is not befitting of Garou's own image of a hero. Darkshine spouts how he will fight risking his life as if that's a big deal, when as Garou puts it, anyone can do that. That is what Garou considers the most basic of prerequisites to being a hero. And the fact he only now is doing it is just more evidence to Garou of how before, Darkshine, one of the association's best, wasn't even doing the bare basics of what it means to be a hero. At the end of the day, in Garou's eyes, the heroes are just people playing hero, it's just a game to them. They are hypocrites in his eyes, speaking of justice yet being unjust in his eyes. They are just bullies. He thinks absolute evil should exist, that it must, but that the hypocrisy of the heroes is what crushes it before it can grow. And that's the root of why he became a monster, became the absolute evil, because he sees them as unfair, as not just, as not heroes. In his mind they have failed to bring about peace as a hero should, and so he will show them their failings. If they are heroes, then he must become a monster, because what is a hero's job? To defeat the monster. So if he became a monster that they could not beat, then he'd be calling them in no uncertain words that they are a failure of a hero. He wishes to expose their narcissism to show they aren't fighting for any more reason than to be called heroes. They are in a way all talk, something highlighted by how instead of trying to save Tario, Zombie Man instead uses words. He tries to talk down Garou, not stop him with actions. As Garou says, he is cowardly. As soon as he can't win, he just gives up. It's just an easy job like that, where if you can't do it, then you can just run your mouth for a bit and be forgiven for failing. A bit hypocritical for the superhuman S-Class who see themselves as above others. It's really hammered home at the end of the fight when Child Emperor says it's their job as superiors to deal with Garou, as they do see themselves as above everybody else. Garou in essence seeks validation for his beliefs to be proven correct. That is why he deliberately does not kill any of the S-Class when he easily could have, or why he announces he will kill Tario. He is testing them. As he says, if heroes have a reason for existing, now's the time to show me. He wants to give them the chance to act as true heroes and then watch them fail, solidifying his beliefs as the truth without doubt. Because a hero always wins, a hero always saves the day. They don't use their inability as an excuse. They aren't cowards, and as such none of the people lying defeated across the battlefield as Garou approaches Tario are fit to be called heroes. He gives them one last chance to prove there is a hero among them. However, to his surprise, one person does step up. Though this person isn't part of the S-Class, they don't see themselves as above others, and they aren't even here as a hero. They're just here as a neighbour, complaining about the noise. This is where Saitama appears, the man who crushed Garou's views underfoot, a true absolute, even greater than his so-called absolute evil. Saitama is unlike the other heroes. He doesn't see himself as superior. He doesn't take pride in being a hero. He wasn't fighting Garou as a hero at all. He just wanted to fight somebody strong. He didn't want to punish Garou for almost killing the other heroes. He just didn't want it to escalate any further. He is a factor Garou never even considered. And when the fight starts, what does Saitama say? Who are you and what are you doing? It's a very simple question, but it's one the S-Class never asked. Saitama, after all, isn't here on some mission to kill Garou, so he doesn't come in with some predetermined view of justice he is going to lay out. As far as he is concerned, Garou is just a guy playing a monster, in the exact same way that Garou sees the S-Class as just people playing hero. And this is where the hypocrisy of Garou's character comes into play, as in the same way that the S-Class didn't get Garou's motivation, with Zombie Man boiling it down to just a simple hate for heroes, Garou himself doesn't get Saitama. When Saitama calls Garou's monster cosplay a hobby, Garou says he gets what he means, that he is saying their fight is inevitable. But when Saitama says he isn't a monster, he interprets it as Saitama trying to reach out to his humanity in a last-ditched attempt to stop him. But as we know, he is missing the point completely. Even if he saw the S-Class as flawed, they at least acted somewhat like a hero, they at least played along with the script. But Saitama isn't like that. Saitama's reason to fight Garou isn't because of justice, it's not to avenge his fellow heroes. He fights for nothing but his selfish desire to have a challenge. A fun little thing to note is how Garou says after punching Saitama for the first time, he won't be working as a hero ever again, implying he didn't intend to kill him, once again showing the cracks in Garou's facade. Hammered even harder home when Saitama says this is the first time a monster has gone easy on him, because to Saitama, Garou isn't a monster. No more than that, he is a pretty sweet guy. And so as the fight continues, as Garou thinks about how Saitama is the Hero Association's secret weapon, and about how all he has to do is defeat this last hero, all Saitama is thinking about is how far he can push Garou, how much fun he can have in this fight. Both are playing their own games in a way, but only one is having fun. Garou sought to rule over the world as the absolute evil, to be a symbol of fear that unites the earth as one. But then Saitama, well, he literally rips up the earth and flips it over. As playing a game of Saitama isn't fair, he begins to embody the very idea of unfairness in Garou's mind. He in Garou's mind becomes a bully. As well, why did Garou do all this to begin with? Because he didn't like how the heroes bullied the monsters. He didn't like how the weak were oppressed. After all, martial arts in essence are a tool for the weak to overcome the strong. Garou wanted to create a peaceful world, and what is the first thing he says this new world will eliminate? Bullying. It's not that he hates heroes, he hates bullies, and Saitama becomes the embodiment of that. And well, what does Saitama say to him? Fighting with you isn't fun. That is when Garou understands what Saitama's been saying the whole fight. This really is just one big game. Justice and evil are decided by others, both are unfair. What Saitama is to Garou right now is just what Garou was to the S-Class, a bully. Because as Saitama said, it's determination that finishes a match. He just wasn't serious. If he really wanted to change the world, then he shouldn't have become the absolute evil. And what's more, he got enraged by Saitama, because as he says, I thought I was fighting a hero, but this guy wasn't anything like a hero. And like that, his true feelings are revealed, that he has an image of a hero in his heart. As Saitama says, he really wanted to be a hero, but he compromised and decided to be a monster. He just took the easy route, as a monster's role is much easier than a hero's, perfect for someone with no self-confidence like Garou, who didn't have the resolve to step up and become a hero. Instead of becoming the ideal hero he saw in his mind, he chose to become a monster instead. Why? Because a hero has to get serious, they have to have the determination to save the world, yet all a monster has to do is exist. Just be the strongest and become a common enemy. He wouldn't need to try. Yet he still has the gall to criticise the S-Class for failing to become his ideal hero, when he himself was too much of a coward to even try. Saitama is a hero for a hobby. He grew up idolising heroes in the same way Garou idolised them, but the difference is clear. One of them pursued their dream, and the other took the easy way out. Sure, it's just a hobby to him, and he may not act like a hero in a lot of ways, but at least he's doing it, not resorting to becoming something as half-assed as the absolute evil. As Saitama says, "Your compromised monster hobby versus my serious hero hobby. Even if that's all I had, I still wouldn't lose." And then what does he do? He asks him what he will do next. After lowering the hurdle right before the goal, what will Garou do next time? And well, Garou doesn't know. And that there says it all. It may be a hobby, but Saitama knows what he wants to do. And while Garou doesn't, his attempt at something was half-assed from the start, and that's why he lost. However, before he can come to any further conclusions, the S-Class gather and demand an execution. Because although Garou was flawed in a lot of ways, and many of his beliefs were both hypocritical and biased, some things do reign true. And this is one of the best moments in the entire series, for showing why Saitama is, in a way, the truest definition of a hero. Even if he doesn't conform to what Garou, the Hero Association, or society as a whole deems as the model hero. The S-Class demanded he be killed before he regains his strength. They seek to impose their biased judgment on him. We even get the before mentioned line from Child Emperor, "We have the obligation as the superiors to finish him off," which Saitama obviously dismisses. In his mind, this is just a little squabble, just some roughhousing. Garou was just playing around, never intending to kill anyone, so why should this escalate to murder? Yet the heroes keep going, they keep trying to kill him, all until the very kid he was trying to kill steps in. The child who mimics the words of Garou, calling them bullies. Yet unlike Garou, he is brave enough to point out what a real hero is, and to him it is Garou. Amai Mask, the hero, pushes down the child, the person they were trying to protect. Out of context, it's not clear who is good and who is bad, and that's the point of this scene. It makes us question what it means to be a hero. What is a hero? Yet what is the conclusion this fight comes to? Well, it doesn't, because this is not the end of the series, and well, the question of what is a hero, that's something core to the series and something we probably won't fully understand till the end of the story. But even so, we do learn a few key things. That the hero is one who perseveres and takes their job serious, even if that job is in reality just a hobby. Saitama doesn't fit the definition of a hero. He is not Garou's ideal hero, but he did save the day. Not by beating Garou, but by proving to him he was no monster. Unlike the S-Class, he didn't pursue an unfair execution, but saw the situation for what it really was. The man with unrivaled strength in the end won, not because of said strength, but because of some simple observations, just a couple of words. And yet he is not acknowledged as the hero of the day, not celebrated for his choice to spare Garou, because a hero doesn't need recognition. They aren't superiors, and they aren't narcissists. They are just people who try their hardest, even if it's just a simple hobby. And if you want to support this channel even further, then perhaps pledge to my Patreon or become a channel member so you can get your name at the end of the video, like Hikari Desu, Rinjak9696, General Tonyos, and Mr. Sputum. So with all that said and done, I've been Seth the Sin, the Deadly Sin of Geek, and I'm signing out. Stay safe, everyone.